दुनिया के एआई के लोग एक शहर और एक देश में हैं, उसके लिए हमें इस इवेंट के होस्ट के लिए ताली बजानी चाहिए. And I think this is the power of India, my friend. I don't have to say this. Everybody who's somebody in AI is right now in this country. Our Prime Minister has been able to bring the excitement of AI just like 10 years back. He was able to do it for Startup India. So from the Startup India to the AI India, once again for our Honorable Prime Minister this time, guys. I don't have to tell you how the powerful capability of AI all of us have experienced. Many of you must be using a personal agent in every other day. And if not agent, co-pilot to use कर ही रहे होगे, सवाल जवाब उससे पूछ रहे होगे. And the beauty is that more you use it, the more it becomes addictive. It is where the technology is. हम लोगों ने जब QR कोड लॉन्च किया था, तब मुझे अभी भी याद है, मैं सरकार के पास गया और मेरी उनसे डिस्कशन थी कि ये डिमोनेटाइजेशन के दिन की बात है कि ये ऐसे करके पेमेंट हो सकता है. तो जो मेरे साथ जिनसे मैं बात कर रहा था, उन्होंने मेरे से पूछा तुम्हें लगता है कि ये कॉमन आदमी को समझ में आएगा क्या करना होता है. तो मैंने बोला सर मैं अलीगढ़ में गया और मेरे घर पे जो हाउस हेल्प है उसने बोला भैया हम भी पेटीएम करते हैं. तो मैंने पूछा कि कैसे करते हो आप, कि वो उसमें पेटीएम से फोटो लेनी होती है उसकी. और मैंने उनको बोला, तो मैंने बोला कि सर जब एक कॉमन व्यक्ति को समझ में आ गया कैसे पेटीएम करना है, तो ये दुनिया में अब ये प्रचार प्रसार कंफर्म्ड हो गया है. एंड नाउ टुडे इन एवरी नूक एंड कॉर्नर ऑफ द कंट्री वी कैन सी द पेमेंट्स रीचिंग एंड कंप्लीटिंग इटसेल्फ. And now this takes us to the next milestone where every one of us who uses a smartphone can now use power of AI. Now, I don't have to tell this once again. The capabilities that we will harness over the period will not be just limited by the chat or let's say the photo आप बना रहे हो या कुछ edit कर रहे हो या कुछ WhatsApp का message pick up कर रहे हो. It will go towards the industry. So till 2025, AI was more of a individual experiential play, if you will. You know, you were trying to find out use case and the problem answers that you fundamentally believe that it will be. But 2026 begins with a commitment and confidence that AI will bring the capability in the business and the work and the problem that we typically would not have assumed that would be solved. And let me say this. Typically, I come from financial service industry and I fundamentally believe access to credit creates the wealth. But access to credit requires a lot of insights and abilities to confirm whether this money will come back or not. Many rules and regulations are allowing us to expand the reach of credit. But by the capability of AI, we will be able to take care of corner cases where it should not go or it should go. So people will become more financially inclusive than ever before. As you are all knowing, the smartphone gave access to the financial system to the every nook and corner of the country. Now this time financial institutions will serve those customers. So from access to the rich ability of financial system will reach. Financial systems bring wealth to the country, bringing access to the credit to the last person brings wealth to the person there. And that is what I believe AI will be able to do, let's say in financial system. You could talk about agriculture, you could talk about husbandry. I remember the conversation between Nandan Nilekani sir and Prime Minister sir yesterday was happening about, let's say, how could you use the power of ability of cattle to use in AI, and then Amul case was talked about. Now imagine the same thing could be done even for machines, even for plants, even for agriculture. The capability of AI that we want to use will make it possible for us to build it in India for the problem and solution that we build for India. And this time, while we are solving the problems here, we will not solve a local problem. We will solve a global problem, because the capability of Indians have been proven that we can make world-class technology. The technology that solves at an order of magnitude scale and abilities that are globally renowned and capable. Once again, I'm going to say that this is not about foundation model only. Important. A foundation model is a horizontal capable model. I don't mind saying that we must and for sure have a foundation model in India, all because we have a capability and resources to do it. And I'm very proud that my fellow entrepreneur Sarvam has done the job, and I do believe that is an acknowledgement that we can build it. It's not something rocket science. It's not something that we cannot build it. But the point is not about just building a foundation model. Point is about building the models that solve for us, solve for global south, solve for global problems. And those models and the requirement of those models to bring in everyday life can only happen in a country where the demographic dividend belongs to us. हमारे देश के जो नागरिक हैं, हमारे देश के जो यंग लोग हैं, उनको अगर मैं ये बोलूं कि आप इसको यूज करो और जिसके साथ आप कर पाओगे, जो आपकी कैपेबिलिटी बढ़ेगी, वो उसको एक्सपीरियंस करेंगे. So the first time our demographic dividend will also become the demographic technology dividend, if you will. The capability of our young, capability and ability and intent of our young will aid to the propagation of AI unlike ever before. It is not about just using, let's say, a messaging platform or a payment platform. It is about adding the capability in your everyday life. And that is rare and possible only in this country. Again, there is a question of, for me, that will you build LLM models or will you build agents on top of it? I'm sure all of us have understood that models are the foundation and the, let's say, on the top of it an agent. It's like asking, will you build vehicles or will you make engines? ऐसा नहीं है कि डैमलर बेंज ने जब इंजन बनाया तो इंडिया ने नहीं बनाया वो और किसी दूसरे कंट्री ने नहीं बनाया. हम लोग भी अपने इंजन बनाएंगे. हमारे इंजन छोटे बड़े डिफरेंट यूज के होंगे. हमारे इंजन का यूज एक पैसेंजर व्हीकल में होगा, एक इंडस्ट्रियल व्हीकल में होगा. एंड देयर दैट रिक्वायरमेंट विल गो मेटाफोरिकली 10 number of times and many more fold than ever before imagined. So right now बिल्कुल जो हुआ है दुनिया में, आप ये सोच के चलो, किसी ने एक इंजन बनाया जो इसको ICE इंटरनल कंबस्शन इंजन हम बोलते हैं, वो बनाया, और आप बोल रहे हो कि क्या आप भी इंजन बना सकते हो? हाँ, हम भी इंजन बना सकते हैं. अब तो बन गया है तो हम तो जरूर बना सकते हैं, क्योंकि उसके अंदर की जो नुएंस थी वो हमें पता भी चल गई है क्या होती है. बट उससे ज्यादा जरूरी क्या होगा? उस इंजन का यूज केस. Using it to make a passenger vehicle, using it to make a bus, using it to make a truck, using it to make a trailer. That is the use case the world want to see. India not only will be the use case capital of the world, but India will also be the capital of number of LLMs that India will build. India will build more number of LLMs for the section of usage and ability of usage than ever before. The fight is not about just a foundation model. Fight is about AI that works for a sector, works for a segment, and solves the problem of an agent. For example, like call centers are the talked about thing that we will, let's say, what will happen to the jobs of call centers. I don't mind saying that call center as a literally job may or may not be challenged. Yes, but the capability is immense. अगर हम लोग यहाँ पे बैठ के किसी दूसरे व्यक्ति के देश की कॉल को यहाँ पे सॉल्व कर सकते हैं, तो हम किसी दूसरे व्यक्ति, किसी दूसरे देश के हेल्थ केयर की प्रॉब्लम क्यों नहीं सॉल्व कर सकते? इफ इमेजिन अ यूरोपियन, there is a old age in Europe and you need to solve for their healthcare tracking and positioning and requirements. So a call center can evolve to become a healthcare provider because they can track the local knowledge of that country and the nuance of that country, and remotely somebody can humanly look at it and confirm, yes, you should take that action. And that capability can only happen in a country that is embracing the change and embracing the technology. It is not a question of whether there will be AI-led job reduction. It is rather a question of there will be AI-led abundance. And are you on the riding the wave or are you getting victimized on the wave? I remember 2010 when this country had feature phones. I remember the business model that I used to run was feature phone-led value-added services business. Ringtone, ringback tone, many of you might have been the customer and you remember that. And I want to tell you one thing. I was going for IPO in 2010 and the challenge was that what will happen to the future forward because the smartphone I had seen in US. And I was uncomfortable that we should do an IPO at that point of time because I was like, the business model is going to change. कोई बंदा रिंगटोन के 15 रुपए नहीं देगा क्योंकि उसके फोन पे आपको गाना सुनने के लिए स्ट्रीमिंग हो सकती है ऐप की. Yes, the world had not seen, but I knew it that the ringtone will no more be a business model. And the power of capability of smartphone was not about that there will be PCO SCDA खत्म हो जाएंगे. SCD PCO खत्म हुए, बिल्कुल हुए. फीचर फोन रिंगटोन का बिजनेस खत्म हुआ, बिल्कुल खत्म हुआ. क्या छोटा बिजनेस हुआ या बड़ा बिजनेस हुआ? उससे कहीं गुना ज्यादा बड़ा बिजनेस बना. And that is the power of AI that you should look at it. And that is the capability that Indians will look at it. Some of us will embrace it as an ability and capability that we can extend and deliver even further set of services. Capabilities that are not yet seen and reached within ourselves. And some of us will feel that we are victim of the capability this machine gives. And that is the change, my friend, always continuous in the world. And I think the India and the land of Gita, which has told that change is the only constant in the world, will not only embrace it and lead it, but it will lead from the front and show the world the ability and capabilities of AI that will show up. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm very proud to be in the country where we today are talking and the center of universe of AI gravity is And from here onwards, we will, instead of looking at AI as a challenger to any problem that we see or any opportunity that we today yield, but to a larger opportunity and larger capability that India will make, and all Indian will make India proud. So with this, I again and again say the ability of India can only be underestimated when we all together join our hands and join in the revolution. So I would say this once again, join the revolution and change the way India is perceived in the world. And today our Honorable Prime Minister has shown that the center of gravity of AI is India. Hami asto, yahi hai, yahi hai. Thank you so much, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ms. Ananya Birla.
Namaste. Thank you so much for that introduction. Good evening, everyone. It is truly an honor to be here today. In his May 2011 address to the British Parliament, President Obama said, and I quote, "I am told that the last 3 speakers here have been the Pope, Her Majesty the Queen, and Nelson Mandela, which is either a very high bar or the beginning of a very funny joke," unquote. Even though I am no President Obama, I feel something similar standing before you this evening. Being in the company of leaders like our Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji, Sundar Pichai, Rishi Sunak, Sam Altman, Mukesh Ambani, Narayan Murthy, and my father, to name a few, this for sure is a very high bar that I will surely not reach. I am very nervous, and this is clearly not a joke. Under the leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister, it has been extraordinary to watch India step into a driving role in the global AI discourse. As a young leader, I feel extremely grateful to have this platform, and I feel that it is our responsibility to make sure that we deliver. India's journey from a $4 trillion economy to a $40 trillion economy in the arc that stretches from where we are today to the Viksit Bharat we aspire to be, by 2047, technology will play a decisive role. This moment carries a similar taste to that of the Industrial Revolution, a period where the relationship between human labor and economic output was fundamentally rewritten. And yet, I would argue that what we are witnessing today is even more profound. The Industrial Revolution amplified our physical capabilities. AI is amplifying our cognitive ones. What we are living through is nothing less than a Cambrian explosion of possibilities, a phase where entire entirely new forms of value and new modes of human potential are emerging at a pace that defies our linear thinking. We are standing at a seminal moment in the history of human progress, a moment of extraordinary possibilities. In our humble attempt to translate these possibilities into reality, I am here to introduce Birla AI Labs. When it comes to the Aditya Birla Group and AI, I want to be clear. My father has been at this for a while, deliberately, quietly, and steadily, not for the spectacle, but to deliver tangible value to our stakeholders. Birla AI Labs has a dual mandate. The first is to service my father's direction and act as an apex AI body for the Aditya Birla Group, building solutions alongside our business tech teams to unlock new value across our businesses. The second is to operate as a frontier research lab, doing ongoing original research at cutting edge and translating that science into proprietary AI products for the open market. This dual positioning gives Birla AI Labs a rare advantage: real-world data, domain know-how, and enterprise-scale deployment through the group, paired with the freedom to build category-defining products for global markets. Let me share what this looks like in practice. As a part of our first mandate driven by my father, we are executing AI deployment across the Aditya Birla Group. The group has been operational for the last 160 plus years, and we have decades of operational data across manufacturing, financial services, commodities, consumer businesses, and a growing bench of talent that understands both the science and the business, giving us an undeniable moat. With a $120 billion market cap, operating across 42 countries with over 250,000 employees, we are witnessing tangible early gains across our diverse portfolio as advanced analytics and AI reshape everything from supply chains to workforce management. Let me start with Birla Estates. We will be using AI to compress project concept timelines by 90%, freeing over 2,000 man days a year. The immediate impact is efficiency. Architects and developers are no longer constrained by the time it takes to test an idea. Contract intelligence tools will now give our teams a unified, accurate view of every agreement, flagging potential claims before they escalate. Moving into financial services, and the transformation takes a completely different shape. Aditya Birla Capital has built one of the most ambitious Gen AI programs in India's financial sector, not by picking a single use case, but by going after the entire value chain at once. Underwriting turnaround time is down 50%. Credit assessment preparation has been cut by 90%. A fully AI-enabled sales program is already targeting more than $100 million in gross sales, while the customer service platform is pushing first call resolution beyond 90%. What makes this remarkable is not any individual number, it is the concurrence. Then there is Hindalco. And here the story shifts register entirely. This is about applying intelligence in one of the most physically demanding, energy-intensive industries in the world. On the shop floor, our proprietary factory intelligence integrates 24 operational KPIs in real time, turning what were once static spreadsheets into a living intelligence layer that surfaces anomalies before they escalate. And what we are building is more ambitious still. A digital twin for our smelters and furnaces, and an AI layer on top that will orchestrate the entire coal source to power ecosystem. But if there is one place in our portfolio where AI feels most consequential, most human, it is for Tantra, our microfinance business. Here we are embedding AI across sales, audit, and quality control, and we expect it to unlock at least 30% in productivity gains. It means a loan officer can reach more people. It means a woman in a village gets access to capital that she would not have had access to otherwise. That kind of efficiency does not just improve margins. It has the potential to improve lives. The consumer businesses brings this completely full circle. I have come to believe through my experience that to build great brands today, product must be backed by content-driven distribution. Our fashion, retail, and jewelry businesses are deploying AI for hyper-personalized marketing and real-time inventory intelligence. Within Birla Cosmetics, our brand Love Etc. and Contraband are using AI creativity tools to move from campaign ideation to final asset delivery at a fraction of the traditional cost. What this tells me is that the question is no longer whether AI can work in complex, capital-intensive real-world industries. We have seen it and we know it can. The real question is how fast and how deep should we go, given the ambiguity that surrounds artificial intelligence. Now, on to our second mandate. And this is where Birla AI Labs operates as a frontier research lab. The conviction here is simple. India's next great institution will emerge at the intersection of deep research, applied engineering, and market creation. That is our North Star. To do this, we have assembled a global team of researchers and engineers from Oxford and IIT Madras to BITS Pilani, ISRO, Google, and Goldman Sachs. Our first major research vertical is in structured foundational models, a field that a recent Forbes article estimates at a $600 billion market opportunity. Often overlooked, a vast majority of the world's data sits in time series and tabular formats. Stock prices, sensor readings, supply chain signals, weather patterns, energy consumptions, patient vitals. This data could actually power predictive intelligence in industry, in finance, in infrastructure, in healthcare. In December, our team was in Europe in San Diego, where our paper, Time to Time, was accepted. It asks a very provocative question. Do these time series foundation models actually understand what a market crash is, or are they just fitting curves? Our researchers showed that you can reach inside a model's hidden states, inject the signature of a historical crash, and watch the forecast shift accordingly. This is not curve fitting. This is a model that has learned something about the structure of the world. Our researchers are working at that frontier. This thesis for Birla AI Labs has been presented at the Oxford AI Summit and the World Summit AI in the Netherlands in 2025. This lab is building, I would say, a credible global research presence, presenting at top venues, partnering with leading institutions and attracting talent that could work anywhere in the world, but has chosen to build for India. Our second research vertical is one that I believe the industry has a moral obligation to pursue. AI now mediates the everyday decisions, relationships, and information environments of over 1.7 billion people worldwide. Yet the study of what this does to human cognition, agency, and daily life remains nascent. We at Birla AI Labs want to do something about this. We conducted a study with Delhi University students to measure how language model usage affects curiosity and cognitive agency among students. The results of this study will be presented at King's College this June. This is the kind of research that industry too often leaves to others. But I believe that those of us who are building AI have a responsibility to understand its human consequences, not as an afterthought, but as a core part of the enterprise. Alongside the research, we are also building tools. In December 2024, we launched a beta version of an AI-native research and productivity platform at IIT Bombay, combining agentic search, real-time data processing, and multimodal intelligence to deliver textual insights across the internet, documents, and financial data. That platform is now being used across my own office to drive day-to-day efficiency. It is a tangible example of what happens when frontier research meets applied deployment, and that is exactly the loop that we at Birla AI Labs are designed to close. This approach, building at the frontier while staying rooted in real-world application, is not new to us. The Aditya Birla Group's history has been very intertwined with the story of our nation. My forefathers have built through every chapter of India's journey, through independence, through liberalization, through globalization. Ours is a history of reading the moment, adapting with conviction, and building institutions that outlast the disruptions that gave birth to them in the first place. This century of building has given us something very invaluable, a muscle memory for navigating tectonic shifts. The generations before me, my brother and my sister, have learned to read the early tremors, to invest before consensus forms, and to build for decades rather than just quarters. Every generation of our group has faced a moment where the old playbook had to be rewritten. What is different today is the elements of high ambiguity and uncertainty, which, if we look at closely, can give rise to immense opportunity. And that is precisely what makes this moment so thrilling and so consequential. But here is what I have come to believe very, very strongly. No single institution, no matter how large or how well resourced, can navigate this epoch alone. The journey from $4 trillion to $40 trillion will not be powered by industry acting in isolation. It will require something way more fundamental. It will require us to build an ecosystem that brings academia, industry, and policy into genuine, sustained collaboration. As India writes its AI chapter, we intend to be on the front lines, not as observers, not as fast followers, but as honest and true responsible builders of technology, of institutions, and of the ecosystem this country needs to lead. And we will do so with utmost responsibility. The playbook for what comes next has not yet been written. And at the Aditya Birla Group and at Birla AI Labs, we look forward to writing it together. Thank you all so very much. It's been an honor.
Thank you so much, Ms. Ananya Birla. The conviction in your words was truly inspiring, and of course,